Hello. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to review this beef, butter, bacon, and eggs diet. Some people call it the BBBE diet. But to start with, I wouldn't even been willing to try this diet if it wasn't for the fact that it was designed by a doctor. And the reason being is because I've tried to eat healthy for years. I got some bad habits to go in there is what the problem was. But anyway, certain foods have certain nutrients in them, and I try to use those there because I know the effect they have on the body, and I try to maintain my health through nutrition. But anyway, I knew going in that it would be a challenge because I know that I have some habits. For one thing, I got a coffee habit. I walk around drinking coffee all day. One of my coworkers told me it's not a habit, it's an addiction. But for health reasons, I got off a creamer and I'll put a little Premier nutrition shake in it. And because I like a little creaminess, I'll put maybe a little bit of this. Getting on the diet, though, I did cut it down to like maybe a tablespoon. So during the course of a whole day, no more than maybe an eighth of the bottle, but that's about it. On this one, maybe about a fourth of the bottle. Another thing that I knew that I had going against me is I take some vitamins and supplements, and I usually take them with a little yogurt. And I use this kind. I started on this kind some years ago. It's a low carb, but trying to be on a diet, I got it down to where I don't take in. Try not to use no more altogether. Maybe about a half of the container, maybe. If sometimes not even that much. But I do that for a couple of reasons, and the couple of reasons are it makes it easier to swallow the pills. Also, to help coat my stomach as well, because I've taken them on an empty stomach before and they bothered me. Water, you're supposed to only drink water. I get a little bowl of plain water. I like water flavorings. This brand right here is the only one that I found that only has 1 gram of carb in it. All the rest of them have 2 to 3 grams of carb, but if you do 3 or 4 of those a day, that adds up. The difference could be, instead of 3 or 4 carbs, you're taking in 4 to 8 carbs. So altogether, my carb intake with the little habits that I got was 5 to 10 grams of carb. If you stick to the diet the way it's supposed to, then it will be 0 carbs. I've been calling it a modified keto, but I think I was wrong. I think it may be closer to what they call a carnivore diet. One of the effects it had on me is I actually ate a lot less. I would eat one big meal, and then maybe later on during the day, I might eat like a hamburger patty, and maybe like a hamburger patty later on, or maybe like a half of a steak or something like that. I found the lower sodium bacon for those that's concerned about sodium, because I belong in a high risk category for hypertension. I found one brand of beef sausage that either didn't have carbs or real low in carbs. All the rest of them had a lot of carbs. I learned to flavor butters. There are some flavored butters like butter, garlic butter on the market, but I just learned to make my own. Basically, just kind of melt some butter and put some seasonings in there. So sometimes dipping the burger patty in some flavored butter was really good. But like I said, I stayed satiated, and I would put my diet into a I use a fitness tracker, and you log your diet, the things you eat into it, and then I discovered that my calorie count was coming in about where it should have been for me to lose weight. But on when I would weigh myself twice a week. On the weeks I saw it slowing down, I would do something like leave the butter off. So instead of having a steak, eggs, and bacon, I said I'd leave the butter off. I'd leave the bacon off. I would have like a midday meal most of the time. Most of the time I wouldn't eat early in the morning. About midday I'd have a meal. It'd be like steak, eggs, and bacon. So pretty good meal there. But most time I wouldn't even want a meal later on. I lost 15 pounds in 30 days. Went on a little vacation, gained a few of it back. Came back home, got on the diet. I can't remember exactly how long I stayed on it, but I lost that weight back, and then I lost 5 pounds. So then I lost 20 pounds altogether. I went and tried some clothes on that I have that were either didn't fit or didn't fit correctly, and they all fit. So 20 pounds down was my goal for this diet, and then I'm going to switch diet. I'm going to go to a keto diet because I want to incorporate some vegetables back into my diet. The pros of the diet, the positive part is the diet worked. I lost weight. I lost 15 pounds in 30 days. And I lost 15 pounds in 30 days even with me modifying the diet to suit me, which means that if I had not modified the diet and did it exactly the way the doctor said do it, I probably would have lost 20 to 30 pounds. But I'm okay with that. Another positive is there was some delicious food on there. Now I was eating sirloin. I became a steak connoisseur. I was eating T-bones. I even had filet mignon, beef ribs. Put my crock pot to good use. Sometimes I would just throw all that stuff in a crock pot together. And it would just be really good, some food up in there. And like I said, I became a steak connoisseur. I discovered which steaks that I like best. And all this is expensive, but I found stuff on sale. I would go to the store and I would find steaks on sale, and they would be mine. The negatives of the diet, for me, it was expensive. But that was just me. There's some more inexpensive ways to do it, and a lot of people, they got videos on how to do it. It's just that I got a little carried away, and sometimes, we just gonna do what we want to do and we'll figure it out. But anyway, another negative is my body reacted. I've never gotten sick on the diet. There was a few days that I wasn't feeling well, and I went and looked it up and found out that people on keto diets, sometimes their body reacts, and they said it should go away within a week or two, but actually I didn't feel well, and then I got sick again, and I also had diarrhea several times. But I discovered when I cut back on the butter, that would help with the diarrhea. But anyway, I read somewhere that when you're going to cut back on carbs, that you should do it slowly. But so if I knew then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have just swung into the diet, but I might would have gradually cut back. But I did not know that. But another thing is it's restrictive. You only got like 4 ingredients that you're using, so it's highly restrictive. Sometimes I'd want to throw some eggs in my scrambled cheese, and I did cheat on some days. I found a 0 carb cheese at Sam's Club. It was a Members Mark cheese, but that was the only one that would fit in there. But still, that's still straying from the diet. Another negative, I guess that was pretty it. It was restrictive. It was expensive. But my body reacted part, that's a big one. But altogether, I would say that, number one, the diet does work. Because if it worked with me modifying the diet, that means if a person stuck to it exactly, I'd say within a month you ought to be 20 pounds down. I would want to do it a long term. There's a lot of people that disagree with me. They say they do it long term, but I don't know. When you're leaving out whole food groups, I'm just kind of not too sure about that. Maybe I would have to get some blood work done on certain things like that. But anybody wanting to try the diet, it does work, and you got to be willing to walk past all the other temptations you see. But at the same time, you'll find out that I think that you don't want to eat as much for some reason. And I struggled with sugar cravings for years, and it seemed to knock that down a whole lot. So that is my assessment of that diet. Even going off of it a little bit, I still lost weight. So the diet does work. But I'd say go back for some people. You may need to gradually cut back on carbs before you swing into it.